To be here with my chairman and your treasurer, this guy Dan Rutherford. See, I call you Rutherford. What do you call it?
You call it anything you want.
This guy's just absolutely amazing. The energy and passion of Treasurer Rutherford has been extraordinary for me in the past, and it is this year, and it's the reason we're going to win Illinois on Tuesday. I found it interesting this morning to hear that the Guggenheim so-called documentary about President Obama is now on the internet, and you can take a look at it. It's about 17 or 18 minutes. Mr. Guggenheim said that he could find nothing wrong with the president, nothing negative to say in this documentary. It's obviously an infomercial. And I thought, well, I'll give you some help, Mr. Guggenheim. You can make a call to some of the moms that are having a hard time paying for gas as they get their kids to and from school and practice and music lessons. And you can also talk to the people who are having a hard time getting to and from work, given the price of gasoline. You can talk to anybody in this country that's really struggling because gas prices have gone through the roof, in part because of this president's failure to develop our energy resources and to bring in the pipeline from Canada. This president has failed us when it comes to gasoline and energy. That's one reason we have to replace Barack Obama. And there are other reasons. I did mention, by the way, that he's out there pushing for alternative energy, and we're here pushing for an alternative to the president. We're going to get a new president. Now, there are other people I'd have him call. I'd have him call the 24 million Americans that are out of work or underemployed.
Amen.
When he was the brand new president, he went on TV and said if he couldn't turn the economy around in 3 years, he'd be looking at a one-term proposition. We are here to collect. It's time for us to take back the White House and get America working again. He also said when he was a candidate that he would cut in half our deficit, and he has doubled it. As a matter of fact, within his 4 years, he is on track to put together almost as much debt as all the prior presidents combined. And so he could make a call, Mr. Guggenheim could, to the young people in this room and across America who are going to get stuck with that bill, the $15.5 trillion, $16.5 trillion. The money keeps piling up as he keeps adding to the deficit, paying interest on it for years. It kills the future of the next generation. It's one more reason we have to replace Barack Obama in this coming November. You know, there's also something I call crony capitalism going on. And that is the idea that the president takes your money and invests it in the people who helped him in his campaign. And whether that was Solyndra, or Enter1, or Fisker, or Tesla, this is a political payback of a kind that really distorts the way the market works and frightens away entrepreneurs and innovators for coming up with new ideas. It's the wrong path for America. It's something which the American people have had enough of. We saw it in Detroit when the president gave the bulk of the shares in General Motors to the UAW instead of letting the normal bankruptcy process occur and the shares go to the people who had the rights for those shares. This is a president who, if you will, gives political payback to those that gave contributions to his campaign. We have to end this cronyism and return to the free market system that has allowed America to be the powerhouse economically of the world, and I will do it. I love this country. There is no nation in the history of the earth that has done for the world what this nation has done. No nation has fed the people of the world as this nation has done. No nation has freed people from the bounds of tyranny as the people of this nation. Even now, our sons and daughters in a far-off place, and sometimes not being terribly welcome, are doing their very best to share liberty with others. Liberty is really the fuel that encourages free enterprises and people to have a better future, to be able to get jobs and rising incomes and to end poverty. America has shared our principles around the world and has lifted people out of poverty. No nation compares in the history of the earth with America. And this president, in his first days in office, began going around the world apologizing for America. If I'm president of the United States, I will not apologize for the greatest nation in the history of the earth. leaders of the country came together and decided what this country would be, I believe they were brilliant or inspired or perhaps both. And they wrote in the Declaration of Independence these extraordinary words. They said that the Creator had endowed us with our rights. Not the king, not the state, but the Creator. And among those rights were life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In America, we would be free to pursue happiness as we choose. We would not be barred from our path by virtue of the circumstance of our birth, by virtue of the demands of government. Instead, we would be free to take our life where we wish to take it. And that freedom and our liberties and the protection of security and life here made this the place that every pioneer and innovator and freedom lover wanted to come. And come they have for hundreds of years. This pioneering, innovative, pioneering spirit has made America the most powerful economic engine in the world. I don't think the president understands that the way we do. I was in Western Michigan, and I met some entrepreneurs there. I met a guy named Norm Byrne. On the wall of his office, there are all these bronzed patents. He has over 100 patents. He's an electrical engineering marvel. And I said, "Where did you get your engineering degree?" He said, "Well, I didn't." I said, "Where'd you get your college degree?" He said he didn't. This is a guy who just uses his innovative skills to build patents and, by the way, employ hundreds of people in his business. Then I met another guy a little later in the day. His name was Dr. Bill Dobbin. And I said, "Doctor, what's your PhD in?" He said, "Oh, I'm not a PhD. I'm a medical doctor." Now, what was unusual is that I was in a factory that made brass wheels and casters for products. And I said, "Well, what got you into this business?" He employs tens of people working in his factory. He said, "Well, I got tired of the malpractice and Medicaid and Medicare, and my dad and I decided to start this little business." All over the country, these kinds of entrepreneurs are starting little businesses, employing one another. And their success does not make us poorer. Their success makes us better off as a nation. We're a nation of innovators and pioneers, and those who are successful employ the rest of the citizens of our nation and lift us up. It's how our economy works, to have freedom and free enterprise and people who cherish those things. The president says he wants to fundamentally transform America. I don't want to transform America. I want to restore and reclaim in America the principles of freedom and opportunity that made us the hope of the earth. And so this is an election about the soul of America. And what kind of an America we're going to have. Is it going to be dominated by government and by bureaucrats who think they know better than free people pursuing their dreams? Or are we going to remain the nation of the free and the brave and the hope of the earth, where people are able to pursue their own course in life? That's what I represent. Now, to beat Barack Obama, we're going to have to be convincing on the concern people talk about day in and day out. The number one issue in America, the strength of our economy, the ability to have good jobs with rising incomes, the ability to get gasoline and energy at reasonable prices, the ability to see a government that doesn't spend more than it takes in. This all collectively I'll call the economy. And on that issue, this president's a lightweight. Now, it's not because he's not smart. It's because he never worked in the free economy. He's never had a job in the free economy.
That's right.
It's hard to create a job if you've never had one. What I bring to this race is 25 years in the private sector, having started a business, having led a business, having then gone and helped run an Olympics and turn it around with other good people, having helped lead a state. I've had the experience of leading. I understand how the economy works, not because I debated it in Congress, but because I worked in the real economy. Yeah. I worked in the United States. We're not going to be successful in replacing an economic lightweight if we nominate an economic lightweight, and I'm an economic heavyweight. I know how this economy works. I'm going to get it working for the American people because I care about the American people. Because great to be here this morning. I appreciate your welcome and the fact that you applauded at just the right time so we were on TV a moment ago. That was fabulous. Maybe someone was waving their hand. I don't know, but you guys were the best. I feel so honored to be here with you at Pancakes Eggscetera. This is a very novel name. Who came up with this name? Was that you?
My name.
He did it. So I appreciate your generosity and your support. Only one more thing I need to ask you to do, and that's to make sure and vote on Tuesday.
Yes.
We need to get out there and vote for my delegates. We've got delegates in every district of the state. The treasurer, Josh, the mayor. Where did Congresswoman Baker go? She had to go. She had to make a vote somewhere. She's voting. But I need you to vote. I need you all to vote. And by the way, you're allowed to vote multiple times by getting a friend to go with you. I know this is Chicago. I had to clarify. Right? Rosemont, they do it right. So you guys need to get a friend or two in the neighborhood, someone who might not have had a ride to get to the polls, and give them a ride, take them out to vote. I need your vote. This is a time we're going to decide who we're going to put up against President Obama. And we need to put up someone who can beat him, and someone who can get America back on track. And I think for that to happen, we're going to have someone who understands how the economy works and who can debate the president on the economy and win. And I will, and we will, and we'll get America strong again.